Hi everybody, my name is Mitresh Singh and I am from Delhi. I am a chartered accountant by profession and coin collecting is my hobby and passion. Today I am going to be discussing about rarities in Mughal numismatics, for the purpose of which I have divided this session into several themes. And I'll discuss these themes one by one and I will let the coins do the talking themselves. Just to give you a brief introduction, the Mughal Empire was established by its founder Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur in 1526 AD when he defeated the Delhi Sultanate ruler Ibrahim Khan Lodi at the First Battle of Panipat. The word Mughal is Persian in origin and is corrupt for Mongol, since Babur traced his ancestry from his mother's side to Genghis Khan of Mongolia and from his father's side to Timur Lane of Turkey. So the dynasty is also known as the Timurid dynasty. So to delve straight into my first theme, which is the gigantic coins. Now the Mughals are credited with issuing the single largest gold coin of medieval age, a 1000 tola or a 1000 moher coin issued by Jahangir, weighing a whopping 12 kilograms. And we also have known sources and availability of coins of other denomination, that is the 100 mohars of Shah Jahan, the 200 rupees of Aurangzeb, etc. So these coins are basically minted for gifts to show the munificence of the Mughal emperors towards the foreign dignitaries and ambassadors, so that they could carry it back for their respective rulers back home. The next theme that I'm going to talk about is the Nazarana coins. Now, Nazarana, the word originates from Nazar, which means basically to provide a gift on certain special occasions like marriages, religious festivals, New Year celebrations, the birth of a child, or some other specific event in the Mughal court. So these coins were characterized by special dies with extremely fine calligraphy and full dotted borders. So you can see a few examples of these extremely beautiful Nazarana coins of Jahangir, of Akbar, of Aurangzeb, etc. From these beautiful big and large coins and special coins, my next theme is Nisar coins, which is the exact diametrically opposite of these big and beautiful coins. Nisar, the word means scattering. So basically these were scattered amongst the populace as the emperor would go on a procession to or fro his palace, or also to commemorate certain special events. And these are very light in size. And the words that you can see appearing on these coins is Nisar. The other word that appears is Khair Kabul, Khair from Khairat, which means basically to give it as a charity. And you also have a word called Nur Asfahan, which means light scattering. You can see examples of these coins. They started being issued from the reign of Jahangir onwards, and there are some examples that I have shared with you. The next coins, very unique contribution of Mughals to Indian numismatics is the few special types of coins issued during the reign of Jahangir. The first one being the portrait coins. Now, in the year 1 of his rule, he issued a portrait coin in the name of his father Akbar, and it shows the portrait of his father on one side with his name Allahu Akbar, or the creed that Akbar had established in his religion, and on the other side you have a large sun, no doubt a reference to the solar year of Akbar's new religion that Akbar had promulgated. In year 6 of the reign, Jahangir also issued portrait mohurs of his own self, and these coins were engraved with the word Shabi, which means the likeliness or the resemblance to the emperor himself. These were given to the courtiers, so they used to wear it as a ornament hung around a chain around their neck, or they would used to tie it on the as a sash to their turban. So it was like a kind of a special VIP kind of identification, and since the emperor gave it personally, so it was a matter of great prestige and honor. You can see the progression of these portrait coins of Jahangir when he's shown seated as full length with crossed legs, and then his bust gradually becomes larger in size, and he seems to be holding a wine cup or a opium goblet in his hand. So no doubt these coins would have scored some scandals during his time, but these are the legacies that have come down to us from that time. Other than these portrait coins, we also have a special series of coins that Jahangir struck, which are known as zodiac coins. So these were struck basically to commemorate each month of the zodiac, and this one basically Jahangir issued from the year 13 of his reign onwards. So gold coins are known in all 12 months, silver coins are known only for the first 5 months, and you can see the beauty of these coins. The reverse generally has a lion with a sun behind, no doubt a reference to Jahangir's own month of birth in August with Leo as the constellation. Other than these zodiac coins, we also have in the last few years of Jahangir's rule special coins issued by Noor Jahan, and she had basically taken over the helm of the affairs due to the failing health of Jahangir, and she was a wise and a clever woman, and she did not put her name individually on the coin, but she put it as a joint name with Emperor Jahangir. The next theme is the Ilahi coins issued by Akbar. Akbar, in the 30th of year of his reign, had come up with a new religion called Deen-e-Ilahi, or the religion of the divine, in which he tried to basically combine the best elements of the prevailing religions during his time. So the best of Hinduism, Islam, Zoroastrianism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. And he issued coins from year 30 onwards bearing the dates in Ilahi era, and you can see the very unique shape of the coin called mihrab. Mihrab is a semi-circular niche in the mosque, inside a mosque, and that faces the direction of the Qibla or the Kaaba in Mecca. So the coin is in this shape. You also have very special coin issued in the name of Ram and Sita, and bears the effigy of both Ram and Sita, and the word mentioned above there is Ram Siya. You can also see a special hawk on the coin issued from Asirgarh fort, which Akbar had conquered, and a duck on the coin that also features as one of the issues in the Ilahi eras. And lastly, a coin that was in the beginning of the Ilahi era, just mentioning the creed Allahu Akbar, Jalla Jalaluhu, spread over both sides of the coin. Then during Akbar's time also, the next theme is we have some special denominations. So he called his gold coin Lal Jalali, which weighed around 12 grams. And the fractions of this coin was known as Man, which was a quarter, 3 grams, and Dhan, which was half, 6 grams. And Akbar has written in his memoir, chronicled by Abul Fazl, that it had come to his mind that Sanskrit names should be used for his coins, so that's what he did so. In the silver issues, we see a coin with the name Rupiah engraved on the reverse at the top, and its fractions are called Charan, which is again a quarter denomination, and Darb, which is the half denomination. Aurangzeb issued a special type of coin called Dirham Sharai, or legal dirham. This was basically a special coin for the pilgrims to pay their religious tax, known as the jizya, that was levied onto the non-Muslims. We also have coins of the pretenders and usurpers to the Mughal throne. During this long rule of the Mughals, we had a couple of 10 to 12 of them that came and went within a very short period of time, almost all of them less than a year, few just a month or a couple of months. And you can see the coins of these rulers. They are quite rare, the rarest being coins issued by Zimus Shan, Nikusiyar, Dawar Baksh, etc. And lastly, the rare mints, basically these being in the outlier of the empire or in remote places or in rural hinterlands, or the mints basically sometimes was closed down or they didn't survive for long. So you see certain names like the special issue of Akbar when he conquered Udaipur following a bitter battle with Rana Pratap at Haldi Ghati. You have his coins issued from Deval Bandar and Lahiri Bandar. You have coins issued from Hardwar. You have Jahangir issues from Urdu, Ra-e-Dakkan. You have coins with mints named as Jaler, Goraghat, Sangameshwar, Parnala, Rajapur, Baramati, etc. And lastly, I will leave you with some magnificent examples of calligraphy on Mughal coins. So I hope you enjoy this. So this brings me to the end of this session. Stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time, goodbye.